Good morning, all of you. Today, we are going to discuss the estimation of income elasticity and gross elasticity of demand. Also, we will be looking on to the computation of elasticity with the help of partial derivative. Coming to the income elasticity of demand, as you all know, it measures the rate at which quantity demanded changes in response to a given change in consumer's income. We can denote income elasticity of demand as E subscript Y, since it is taken as the ratio of proportionate change in quantity demanded to proportionate change in income. You can express it as EY is equal to dQ by Q divided by dy by Y. This is the proportionate change in quantity and this is the proportionate change in income. Rearranging dQ by dy multiplied by Y by Q. So this is the derivative part in the expression. Okay. Now, one difference from the price elasticity computation is that in the expression for price elasticity, we incorporated a negative sign onto the equation to avoid dealing with the negative value in the final answer. The reason was that the price quantity relation will always be negative. The direction of change is different. That is why we incorporated a negative sign there. But in this case, it is not possible, since depending on the type of good under consideration, the elasticity, the coefficient of elasticity can be positive or negative. For example, if you are taking a normal good, what will be the relationship between quantity demanded and income of the consumer? If you are dealing with a normal good, then if the income of the consumer increases, normally there will be a hike in the quantity demanded of that. So, both changes or both the income and the quantity demanded move in the same direction. Similarly, if there is a fall in income, the quantity demanded of the normal good will go down. Here also they move in the same direction. So in that case, if you compute the income elasticity of demand, it will be a positive one. So income elasticity will be positive for normal good, but it will be negative for inferior good. In the case of inferior good, when income increases, you will be demanding less of it. So both the variables move in the opposite direction, and hence the elasticity will be a negative value. Okay. So in the case of income elasticity of demand, the sign matters. If it is positive, you can conclude that the good under consideration is a normal one, and if it is negative, you can conclude that the good is an inferior one. Here we are not going on to any problems. In a similar pattern as in the case of price elasticity of demand, if a function is given where quantity demanded is expressed as a function of income, you can calculate income elasticity using this expression dQ by dy multiplied by Y by Q. Okay. Now coming to the gross elasticity of demand. It is taken as the ratio of proportionate change in quantity demanded to a proportionate change in the price of related commodity. The expression goes like this: EC, which is the gross elasticity of demand, is given as the proportionate change in quantity dQ by Q divided by the proportionate change in the price of related good. Here the price of related good is depicted as P2. So this is the proportionate change in the price of related good. Rearranging dQ by dP2 into P2 by Q. Please note that P2 is the price of the related commodity which we are taking into consideration. As in the case of income elasticity, here also the sign is having significance. The cross elasticity will be positive if the related good is a substitute. If the related good is a substitute, then what happens? The price change and the change in quantity demanded in the other good, both these changes will be in the same direction. If the price of a related commodity increases, the quantity demanded of the commodity will also increase. So, cross elasticity will be positive for substitutes, and in the case of complements, the cross elasticity will be negative. This is because the direction of change of the variables will be different. They will be moving in opposite directions, and as a result of which cross elasticity turn out to be a negative value. So if the goods are substitutes, then cross elasticity will be positive simply because the variables move in the same direction. In the case of complements, cross elasticity is negative because the variables move in opposite direction. If a demand function is given where only the price of related commodity is incorporated as the independent variable, you can compute the cross elasticity using this expression dq by dp2 into p2 by q. So, as in the case of price elasticity of demand, you can compute income elasticity and cross elasticity in the same manner if you are given a function where only one of the independent variable is considered. The problems are not very important under these two elasticities. Usually price elasticity computation will be asked for university exam. Even if a question comes from cross elasticity or income elasticity, you can make use of this equation, and in the similar pattern of computation of price elasticity can be made use of. So far we were discussing demand function as a function of single independent variable. We have considered only the derivative of functions of a single independent variable. In all the problems that we have computed, you were given a demand function which is expressed as a function of single independent variable. It can be a function of price, it can be a function of income, or it can be a function of the related commodity price. So far we took into account either price or income or the related commodity price as the independent variable which is affecting the dependent variable, that is quantity demanded. That is, y is equal to f of x. This is the general format that we have been using so far. Y is the quantity demanded and x is the independent variable. It can be price, it can be income, or it can be the price of related commodity. The thing is that we will be dealing with any one of the independent variable at a time. In that case, we made use of derivative to calculate the elasticity in each cases. For example, when you are given a demand function q is equal to 100 minus 2p, here if you are asked to compute the price elasticity of demand, you can make use of this expression dq by dp into p by q. Here you are taking the derivative of this function with respect to p. In a similar way, if it is given that q is equal to 100 minus 2y or 100 minus 0.5y, then here it is a function of income. In that case, you can calculate income elasticity of demand by calculating dq by dy. Okay, so that is about the function of single independent variable. So all the calculations are similar. As in the case of price elasticity, you can compute income elasticity or cross elasticity. Now we are moving on to a different situation. We know that many economic activities involve functions of more than one independent variable. Take the case of this quantity demanded, the demand function. We know that demand is influenced by many factors. Price, income, and the price of related commodities can simultaneously influence the quantity demanded of a particular commodity. In that case, we have to deal with a demand function having more than one independent variable. It is not the price alone, it is not the income alone, or it is not the related commodity price alone which is influencing quantity demanded. All of these are simultaneously influencing the quantity demanded of a particular commodity. In that scenario, the function will take the form z is equal to f of xy. If you are dealing with a function where only two independent variables are influencing the dependent variable, then you can go for this. Z is equal to f of xy. Or you can go with this expression y is equal to f of x1, x2, etc. up to xn. Here, any number of independent variables can be incorporated from x1, etc. up to xn. Here, the dependent variable y is influenced by all of this. See the example. Q is equal to 100 minus 5p plus 0.05y. Here, two independent variables are there. Q, or the quantity demanded, is influenced by the price of the commodity and also by the income of the consumer. In this case, the two independent variables are simultaneously occurring on the function. Here, how will you calculate price elasticity or income elasticity? Go to another example. Q is equal to 100 minus P1 plus 0.75 P2 plus 0.02y. Here, three variables are included. Three independent variables are there. One is the price of the commodity itself, which is expressed as P1. Another variable is the price of related commodity, which is given as P2. The related commodity can be a substitute good or it can be a complement good. And the third variable is the income of the consumer. Here, three independent variables are there. All the three variables are influencing the dependent variable Q. The quantity demanded is influenced by the price of the commodity, price of the related commodity, and also by the income of the consumer. This is a different situation. Here also, we can compute price elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand, and income elasticity of demand. But with some difference. The usual pattern can't be employed here, since there is a simultaneous influence of different variables. We have to find the influence of one variable by taking all the other variables as constant. That is the procedure that we are going to apply over here. So, in this scenario, to measure the effect of a change in a single independent variable on the dependent variable, we make use of partial derivative. So in such scenario, we have to depend on partial differentiation. So this is a multivariable function where you are having more than one independent variable on the right hand side. In such a situation, to measure the effect of a change in any single independent variable, you have to make use of partial derivative. The partial derivative of z with respect to x measures the instantaneous rate of change of z with respect to x while y is held constant. Suppose the function is like this, z is equal to f of xy. You want to calculate the impact of a change in x on z. Here we can make use of partial derivative. We can calculate the partial derivative of z with respect to x. The partial derivative of z with respect to x will measure the instantaneous rate of change of z with respect to x while y is held constant. In the partial derivative process, we will be taking into consideration only one independent variable at a time while keeping all the other variables as constant. Coming to the partial derivative, consider the function y is equal to f of x1, x2, etc. up to xn, where the variables x are all independent of one another. All these variables are influencing y, but they are independent of one another, and each independent variable vary by itself without affecting the others. There is no interaction between the variables. Independent variables are not undergoing any interaction within themselves, but they are having an impact. They are influencing the dependent variable. Each of these variables is varying by itself without affecting the others. If x1 is undergoing a change, then there will be a corresponding change in y, while all the other x variables will be kept constant. If x1 undergoes a change while all other x remain fixed, there will be a corresponding change in y. Now, that corresponding change, if x1 undergoes a change, there will be a change in y, and we can express that proportionate change as delta y by delta x1. Change in y as a result of change in x1 can be expressed as delta y by delta x1. And if we take the limit delta x1 is 0, tending to 0, that is, the change in the independent variable is infinitesimally small, or if it is so minute, then that limit will constitute the partial derivative. The proportionate change can be expressed as delta y by delta x1. Now, in order to express this in the partial derivative format, we are taking the limit delta x1 tends to 0. That is, the change in the independent variable is infinitesimally small. In that case, delta y by delta x1 can be expressed in the partial derivative format. Okay. Now, the computation of partial derivative. Before going on to computation, let us see. The partial derivatives can be defined for changes in other independent variables also. So this is the way in which you can express the partial derivative if there is a change in x1 leading to a change in y. Similarly, if to find out the impact of change in x2 upon xy, there also the partial derivative can be defined. So, corresponding to each independent variable, we can define partial derivative which will be taking into account the effect of change in that particular independent variable on the dependent variable. Partial derivatives are assigned distinctive symbols. So far, we were using the ordinary derivative where we made use of the symbol d, dy by dx. So here instead of d, we are employing the symbol dou. The partial derivative of y with respect to x1 can be expressed as dou y by dou x1, which is read the partial derivative of y with respect to x1. Similarly, the partial derivative of y with respect to x2 can be expressed as dou y by dou x2. If x3 is there, then you can express the partial derivative as dou y by dou x3, etc. Now, the partial derivative with respect to one independent variable follows the same rules as ordinary differentiation. So, here on the computation part, you need not worry. With respect to each of the partial derivative, you can make use of the same rules as that of ordinary differentiation. But assume that the other variables are constant. Just keep the other variables constant. Select the concerned variable, then do the differentiation in the usual process. So, here the variables follows the same rules as ordinary differentiation. Let us see how to work out a problem. Before going on to this problem, it is better you go through the partial derivative portion in the textbook. I think chapter 5. So this is chapter 4. So chapter yes. Yes. Please go through the chapter 5 in the PDF of SHORM series. Here, the calculus of multivariable functions is given. Just see how to compute the partial derivative, then we can move on to the problem. So, see the example 1. The partial derivative of a multivariable function. The function is given as z is equal to 3x square y cube. So, it is in the multivariable function format where the dependent variable z is expressed as a function of x and y, since x, y variables are there on the right hand side. Now, to differentiate this function with respect to x, z is differentiated with respect to x. In that differentiation, treat the term y as a constant. An easy thing is that just mentally bracket this y term and take into account only the x term. So, z is equal to, we have bracketed the y term, the constant 3 and y cube is bracketed and x square is written. And you just want to differentiate that x term. Dou z by dou x is equal to, retain the constant as such 3y cube. All the other variables are kept constant. Like if a constant is there, then that constant is retained. Also the y term will be retained. 3y cube is retained as such, and we are finding out the differential of x square. Okay, d by dx of x square. So it will turn out to be 3y cube into x square. The differential of x square is 2x. Now you can, for final answer, you can rearrange this. Please note that when a multiplicative constant is there in the process of differentiation, we can't eliminate it, you have to retain it. Since these two terms are multiplied, we can't eliminate this constant term, it should be retained. Now remove the bracket and you can rearrange the term. 3 into 2, 6xy cube. That is the partial derivative. Dou z by dou x is equal to 6xy cube. In the similar manner, you can calculate the partial derivative with respect to y. When differentiating with respect to y, treat the x term as a constant, the reverse pattern. In the previous case, we considered 3y cube as a constant. Here, we are taking 3x square as a constant, considering only the y term. You can bracket the x term and the coefficient together, and out of the bracket, write the y term. Now find the partial derivative, dou z by dou y. That is, you have to take the differential of y cube. 3x square is retained as such, d by dy of y cube. 3x square into the differential of y cube is 3y square. Now opening the bracket, it will turn out to be 9x square y square. So this is the process of partial differentiation. Let us see one more problem. See example 2. Here you have to find the partial derivative for z is equal to 5x cube minus 3x square y square plus 7y raised to 5. Now, when differentiating with respect to x, first of all, take the x term alone and mentally bracket all the other terms. So, z is equal to 5x cube that we need minus, in the second term x and y are there. We need only the x part. So, we are bracketing 3y square, then out of the bracket write x square plus 7y raised to 5. That also we don't need and just bracket it since it is a y term. Now take the derivative of each term. 3 terms are here. So wherever x is there, you have to find out the derivative. You should remember that in differentiation, the multiplicative constants will remain, but the additive constants will drop out. If a constant is added, then that constant can be dropped. But if that constant, if it is a multiplicative constant, you have to retain that one. See here, the second term, here y term is also there, but since it is a multiplicative constant, you can't drop it. You should retain that term. But what about the last term? That term includes only y variable and it is an additive constant, 7y raised to 5. This term is added to the other terms. So we can drop this term when taking the differentiation. So now coming to the partial derivative part, dou z by dou x. We are taking the partial derivative of this function with respect to x. The first term is 5x cube. So you have to find the derivative d by dx of 5x cube minus this term. You have to retain the bracketed term as such since it is a multiplicative constant, 3y square. Then take the differential of x square, d by dx of x square. The third term is d by dx of 7y square, which is a constant, and we can drop it. Coming to the answer, 5x cube. When you differentiate it, it will give 15x square minus, retain 3y square as such, d by dx of x square will give 2x plus 0. Differential of a constant is always 0. Final answer is 15x square minus 6xy square. You can open this bracket and write the term as 6xy square. Always remember to retain the multiplicative constant and to drop the additive constant. That is the main thing you have to remember while undergoing partial differentiation. Now, when differentiating the above set function with respect to y, first of all, mentally bracket all the x terms. We need only y terms. So, bracket all the x terms. Z is equal to 5x cube minus 5x cube we don't need, so we can bracket it. The second term is 3x square y square. Out of this 3x square is not at all needed. we want only the y square. So it is put out of bracket, and the last term is 7y square, which we need since it is a term including the y variable. Now we are going to take the partial derivative. Dou z by dou y is equal to d by dy of 5x cube. First term is a constant, keep it as such, minus 3x square is the constant, and then d by dy of y square plus the differential of 7y raised to 5. Out of these three differentials, you can eliminate the first one since that value is 0. The differential of a constant is always 0. So put it as 0 minus. In the second term, since 3x square is a multiplicative constant, you can't eliminate it. You have to retain that 3x square into, what is the differential of y square? 2y. Plus last term, the differential of 7y raised to 5 is given by 35y raised to 4. Now you can open the bracket and write the answer as minus 6x square y plus 35y raised to 4. Clear? That is all about finding the partial derivative. Just go through this portion and try to practice calculating partial derivative, and after that move on to our problem. Now coming back to our slide, a problem is given over here. Given the demand for beef, cube B is given as 4850 minus 5PB plus 1.5PP plus 0.1Y. QB is the quantity demanded of beef, PB is the price of beef, PP is the price of pork, which is a related commodity, and Y is the income. And also given income is 10,000, the price of beef is 200, price of pork is 100. Now you are asked to calculate income elasticity and cross price elasticity of demand for beef. So this is a case where we need to make use of partial derivative. Why? This is a multi-variable function. A single dependent variable is influenced by three variables at the same time. Quantity demanded of beef is influenced by price of beef, price of pork, and also by the income level of the consumer. So three independent variables are included in the function. So it is a multi-variable function, and to find the impact of one independent variable on the dependent variable, we can use partial derivative, and the partial derivative can be defined for each of the different variable, and we can calculate the price elasticity, income elasticity, and cross price elasticity for beef. Looking on to the solution, first of all we want to calculate the income elasticity. In the previous case where income alone was given as the independent variable, we might have used dq by dy into y by q. This is the previous case, that is in the single variable function where income is given as the only variable. We might have calculated elasticity using this expression. Now the situation is different. It is a case of multivariable function where income is only one of the independent variable which is influencing quantity demanded along with the price of the commodity and related price of the commodity. So here we have to make use of partial derivative, and EY is given as dou QB by dou Y into Y by QB. Instead of dq and dy, we are using partial derivative dou Q and dou Y. Now what about this partial derivative? See the problem. You have to find dou QB by dou Y. So we are taking into account the influence of income upon the quantity demanded of beef. So to find out the influence of this variable upon the dependent variable, For the time being, we keep all these other terms in a bracket. Okay, we are taking into account this term alone. Since these are constants and are additive constants, there will be no influence. You can eliminate all these terms and the only term will be 0.1y, and if you take the partial derivative, it will turn out to be 0.1. Now find out the value of QB by substituting the given values onto the expression. The expression is like this, the demand function. When you substitute the value for PB, PP and Y, you will get the value for QB, and QB will turn out to be 5000. And now you can calculate the income elasticity of demand, which is equal to partial derivative dou QB by dou Y into Y by QB, and this partial derivative 0.1 multiplied by Y. Income is given as 10,000 divided by QB, which is the quantity demanded of beef, which we computed as 5,000. So 0.1 into 10,000 divided by 5,000 will give you 0.2. So the income elasticity of beef is 0.2. Now to compute the gross price elasticity, if it was a single variable function, we might have used EC, gross price elasticity is equal to dQ by dP2 into P2 by Q. This is the case when the price of related commodity is alone given as the independent variable, but that is not the case here. Here, along with the price of related commodity, we are having some other independent variables, so we are going for partial derivative expression. The gross elasticity is given as dou QB by dou PP, which is the price of pork, multiplied by PP divided by QB. Again, in this expression, we are supposed to calculate the gross price elasticity of demand. So this term is important. We can bracket all the other terms. Since all the other terms are additive constants, we can easily eliminate all of it, and QB is found to be a function of this alone, 1.5 PP, which is the price of pork. So partial derivative will turn out to be 1.5. QB we already calculated, it is 5000. PP is given as 100. Substituting all these values onto the expression, the gross price elasticity will turn out to be 1.5 multiplied by 100 by 5000, which is 0.03. So that is the gross price elasticity of demand. Okay, hope all of you understood the context where we are using partial derivative for the computation of elasticity. Usually a problem will be asked from this portion to calculate different elasticities in the case of a multivariable function where we have to go for partial differentiation. Go through the chapter 5 in Shom's PDF. Try to understand partial differentiation in detail and try out this problem given over here. For the next hour, I will be providing some questions to work out relating to partial differentiation. Thank you.